Alright everybody, so today we have this truck. This is actually my truck. I've had since about last year, midsummer time, so June 2021, roughly. It's actually a pretty nice truck for its age. It's about coming on 25 years now, since it's a 98. And there's a few little dings and scratches and all that sort of stuff on here, but overall, this is a very clean truck. And these trucks aren't made anymore. They don't make trucks like this small. They don't make them this efficient, easy to work on or anything like that. So it's really refreshing when you see one that's this clean. Typically, you don't up here in the northern states because of all the rust. These typically just get rotted up through here. But as far as the fuel mileage is concerned and just the driving is just honestly one of the funnest things I've driven. I've driven probably over 20 vehicles at this point, and I've driven all sorts of things from Corvettes to Cadillacs, and you know, you get a feel for different things. And this is honestly, as a daily driver, this is my favorite thing to drive. I find it very just comfortable, small, cozy, all sorts of things. And a lot of people actually like looking at it. It still has the original tires on it. And if you would believe it or not, this fender's new, the other fender's new. The hood is actually a replacement hood from Kansas apparently, and they just had this repainted this year. And you can see how they blended the paint into the door here, all through up here, and it actually came out really good. The rockers and the cab corners are all original. There's really no rust on this thing, which is quite crazy. The funny thing is, it's spent its whole life in Akron, Ohio, which, if any of you know, or if you're out of the country or whatever, whoever's watching this, those up here in the northern states in America, it's very prone to salt and rust. So whoever owned this before me did not drive it in the winter. That's very obvious. And they had it all undercoated and everything. But I'm gonna have to drive it in the winter this year, because I can't afford another vehicle. And I'm not going to drive the 94 in the winter. You guys can go check out that video on the channel. We have a 1994 Chevy half-ton pickup truck that you guys go check out. But here, this is my daily driver. I try to keep her up, keep her clean. Coming around here to the front, we can see that in 1998, honestly, this thing looks still pretty modern. Like, if you saw this on the road, you probably wouldn't think much of it as an older vehicle, as even a 25-year-old vehicle, because probably of this facelift that's on it. In 1998, they moved from the... We got a whole biker gang coming up on us. They put in the full, what do they call these? They were like the glass little ones before that. I don't know what you call that, but something. And then they went to this design. The interior was completely refreshed, and we'll look at that in a minute. If you're in the market for a Chevy S10 of this generation, or one before that were the more square body type looking ones, then go on Facebook Marketplace, and I guarantee that you can find one in the 3,000 to even 6,000-7,000 range for really decent shape. Actually, if you're going anything below that, you're obviously going to expect a ton of rust all through here and just completely used. My truck actually only has about 158,000 miles on it, which is pretty low for these. I've seen these go all the way up to 300,000 pretty regularly, actually. But if you're in the market, I definitely stay in between the $3,000 and $6,000 range mark. I picked this one up for $6,000, actually right behind us over there at that dealership a year ago, so that's why we're filming here. The wheels are actually the original style wheels that were on this, probably new. I put this front license plate, Heartbeat of America. When they put the new fenders on mine, make sure when you're buying an S10, all the fender gaps align and that's not rusted out. Also check for frame rust, anything like that, brakes, because they're not really expensive vehicles. They're just made to get you from point A to point B. Now if you're looking like an OBS Chevy or something like that, those are a lot more valuable at this point in time. These are starting to come up with more value if they're in really good condition and have lower miles, but typically not. There's little scuffs and dings and things that are wrong here on it. 2 cracks in the windshield. So she's a daily driver. You know, I don't just keep her in the garage, folks. I get her out. And I put about actually 3,000 miles on it this summer. So it's doing good. Last year I got it oil sprayed. If you have a vehicle, get it oil sprayed. That'll stop a lot of your problems right there, just dead in their tracks. If you're looking for, especially like younger like me, since I'm younger, if you're looking for like a first vehicle for either your child or something, definitely an S10 is a great option. They're slow, they're pretty reliable sometimes. No, it's good. And there's only 2 seats in it, unless you get the extended cab with the little fold down like gunner seat in it or whatever they call it. I'm not exactly sure. All right, guys. So now, after looking on the outside, and you guys can come around over here and see some little dings and scratches on it right there. I was actually in an accident this summer. Some guy came over and hit me. He was in the other lane like this, and he drove into the side of my truck actually and scraped the whole side of it down. There's some dents here, and there's a big dent on my bed over here. It actually peeled some paint off. So I'm gonna have to get that fixed possibly. And I messed my alignment up actually. The funny thing is that my name, the initials in my name go with this, so that's another reason why I bought the truck. It was kind of funny just in that regard. Just a funny coincidence. Coming around here into the interior, we can see that it's actually very clean. Typically see these all ripped up and the dash just completely cracked. This one's perfect actually. You can see the first thing off the bat is that I don't have power windows or power locks. Typically the switches are right here, but you know, I just got the old time cranker up here. Or the just pushing her up and down there. But other than that, it's actually got a CD player, 2 cigarette ports on the bottom there, tilt steering wheel, 4-wheel drive, and the 4.3 liter V6, which is a very reliable engine. It's just a small block Chevy, just with 2 cylinders slapped off there. So they run good. Typically you're going to have problems with these trucks is that you're going to have them with the 4-wheel drive systems. They are vacuum operated and they typically go wrong because they're just junk. I don't think this one even works. But the 4.3 liter Vortec engine is a solid engine. It's just like the 350s. But one thing you got to look out for with these is the transmission. These typically just slip horribly and you're going to have to replace those probably at the mileage I'm at, about 150. Alright, so when we're in the interior here, I'm going to show you some of the things that like are kind of more standout-ish that maybe you don't see in other vehicles nowadays. On the radio, looking at the radio here, you have an equalizer. It's kind of small here. You got your fade, ballast, bass, and treble. You also got an auto tune that will like do it itself based on the type of music that you're listening to. Here's you can change the time. You just got your seek. It's very easy to operate, super easy. I mean, like you could be dumb and just perfectly fine with this. The climate control, I really don't know how you mess it up here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, more fan speed, and that's your temperature, and then you get to pick from there. Coming over here, you actually get to pick if your passenger gets to live or die or not, actually. I doubt the airbag actually works in this anyway, but I have it off because I don't really like who's filming this right now. Over here you can see that I got 158,344 miles on it. A lot of here's your hazards up here on top of the steering column. Your 4-wheel drive is up here, so if you are ever looking for a truck, an S10, they're going to be up here. When you click them, you're going to be in drive or neutral, I think, I forget because I never use it. And you just click for high, and then you kind of like just like, actually I think you have to drive. I don't know. Felt it lock there. Now it just locked the front front differential, so now I'm in 4-wheel drive now, which is, I didn't even know it worked. Over here on this side of the steering, it's kind of hard for you to see. You got that. This is, it kind of faded away, you can see, because a person clicking it with their that's the cruise control, your wipers all the way up, and this is your wiper splasher that splashes on the windshield. Over here you got your just amber lights, your headlights, and this is your interior lights, and I have full LED lights in here, so it's actually really bright at night. Funny thing, interesting with these the sun visors that you don't really see nowadays, is that they're actually, this is a two-way system. I really have never seen this, and everyone that I've showed actually thinks this is quite interesting. So this pulls out all the way, so you got like a full, this is when you're on the side and like you're going down the highway or whatever. So you can just, bang, you can get your hidden from the sun if you want in this truck. And then this comes down. So you got a two-way. I really have never seen this other than this vehicle. So I think that's quite interesting. If any of you remember that from the past, leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you. Up here we have reading lamps in the mirror. You don't really see that much, but they work. As far as the interior goes, it's nothing grand. You don't got crazy options, but we do have a third seat for, you know, any little small child, or you could just squeeze on in here for another person. They gotta have a butt that's about 5 inches wide, but you know, that's fine. And then this comes up, you can store your CDs in here actually, which is kind of nice. I got cup holders. They were thinking about Americans at this point in time, because before that they didn't really have many cup holders in vehicles, but by this point I have 4 cup holders in here in a 2-seater vehicle, so each person gets 2 big gulps, I guess, from Circle K or something. The seats are kind of comfortable. I wish they were more bolstered in the back here. This seat itself is messed up. There's something wrong with it. It's over bolstered on the bottom, so it's like flat when it should be like a bucket seat almost. So there's something wrong in that regard. You just got your pull here for the hood, brake release, and things like that. So overall it's just very simple, and you got a cigarette lighter still. That works. Works good. Overall, that's my interior. Oh, and the steering wheel was a 1-year option on this truck. They didn't have it. Well, they did have it. They put this in '95, but this was the only year that they had it with the new interior. And '99, they put the small steering wheel. So if you see one of those, it's going to be like about this big. Steering wheels have the finger grooves in them, and it's just honestly really nice to drive. And I got tilt, so I can, on the highway, look at that, I can bring her all the way down, or I can throw her all the way up. So I really like that. That's one of my favorite things to do in this. Just mess with that. So overall, that's just my interior. Anyway, I'm tired and I'm gonna go to bed now, so I'm done.